A local break-in caught on camera, and the frustrated owner of this business tells Fox 17 News he needs help. Our Kylie Walker now live on the north side, where the business owner taking extreme measures to protect his investment, understandably.
Yeah, Scott, the Silo Market actually just opened its doors too in November, but in the span of just a month and a half, it's already been broken into on 3 different occasions.
A sound that has become way too familiar for one local business owner.
It's a problem that's not getting better, it's getting worse, and it's very discouraging, disheartening as a new business to continually, be robbed.
Luke Watson, the co-owner of Silo Market, shared this surveillance footage with us. The first break-in here on January 16th, with the suspected burglar shattering the window with a hammer. He then steals the cash drawer.
And then the second and third break-ins actually happened in broad daylight for the second one. It was 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
Both less than a week apart. The second break-in on February 5th, with another one just 4 days later.
All 3 times they've gotten just the cash. The third time they also took the entire safe, which was bolted down, but they were still able to take the entire safe.
With damage like this costing the market a couple $1,000s. This now the reason Watson no longer accepts cash at his business.
There's only so much business owners can do.
Watson now calling on the city and our local police department to wrap up patrol efforts in this area. He adds that he's discouraged after not hearing any communication from the police.
We've been robbed 3 times in a month, and I have not had any updates from the police department.
Fox 17 reached out to Metro Police to see what they're doing to protect the neighborhood of the Nations. They tell us undercover work is being done in response, with the mayor's office telling Fox 17 News they're working closely with the police.
And later in the show, how a proposed bill almost stopped Watson and other businesses like him from going cashless.
It was a very emotional meeting with teachers today. They say they feel isolated and hopeless, and they need things to change.
Teachers say they're suffering beyond belief from physical abuse, and the worst part is they say they want to remain anonymous for fear of losing their jobs. This teacher was sexually assaulted at school, and she reported it to her school. She says they removed him from her classroom, but put him in the classroom next door, so she kept running into him in the hallway.
I do not feel like I'm safe. I don't feel like I'm protected and backed by the people that I work for.
She then reported it to the police, and he was charged with a felony and moved to an alternative school. She's leaving the profession because of this trauma.
These kids that I love, and I hold every one of them near and dear to my heart. And it's heartbreaking.
Unfortunately, she's not the only one. Another teacher says he was physically assaulted and the student was given minimal suspension and then was put right back in his classroom.
I had to continue to teach him, and while there was pending litigation against the child.
So he chose to remove himself from the school. He says school administration needs to be held accountable. I reached out to the Department of Education about what they're doing to change this, but I have not heard back yet.
I would like to see a move from where there's a less of an emphasis on suspension rates, statistics, and more of an emphasis on protecting teachers.
He emphasizes this needs to be changed immediately.
There's already a teacher shortage statewide, and now with the constant abuse, they're afraid for the future of education and teaching.
The Metro Council members I spoke with are not happy and say action should have been taken months ago.
Chuck Harper has been experiencing trash delays for almost 2 months now.
This past week, they did pick up the recyclables for the first time since the beginning of the year, but we still got the trash problem, as you can see up and down the street.
Harper is not happy, and neither are city leaders. Metro Council member Jeff Syracuse says the city's contract with Red River is 20 years.
Do you think that's the biggest issue, is this contract?
The contract is definitely one of the fundamentally flawed issues. The contract worked back in 2004, but in my opinion, it very much favored Red River.
A flawed contract, Syracuse says, that Metro Water Services signed with Red River. I reached out to them about what legal remedies they're pursuing, but I have not heard back yet. Metro Council member Freddie O'Connell says something should have been done months ago.
Do you think Metro has a chance of breaching this contract?
I don't see how we can't hold Red River in breach at this point.
Syracuse says at the very least, Metro needs to be able to assign trash routes to other providers to ensure people's trash is picked up.
We're going to have to spread the risk around, and that we have greater performance metrics so that if somebody fails, we can move in and make quicker decisions to ensure that there's consistency and stability.
He says it can't just be one provider, and taxpayers like Harper say they just want their trash picked up on time.
We need to find out what the problem is. Let's solve it.
And solve it soon.
O'Connell told me that Metro ordered 24 trucks, but he said that could take months up to a year to arrive. And coming up later tonight, we'll tell you why this state of emergency could be very costly.